Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about a topic that I didn't think was going to be controversial until I put it on the internet and everyone hated me for it. And we're going to talk about it on here. Roll the apparent controversial take.
But, I think I sing it again. She had dumps like a truck. I was like, what, all night long. Let me see that.
So I put that video out a couple of days ago, reminding people that drinking alcohol while pregnant should not be criminalized because it can harm the FASD community and their families. Man, did people not like that idea. So I'm going to explain to you why criminalizing pregnant people who drink, criminalizing the diagnosis of FASD is really, really harmful and will do more harm than good. We need to remember that one of the ways that FASD happens is FASD can happen before someone even realizes they're pregnant. FASD can happen in the third week of pregnancy, before someone even realizes that they're pregnant. Did you know that the FAS, fetal alcohol syndrome, facial features happen very early on in pregnancy before someone even realizes they're pregnant? It would be very, very unfair to charge someone with something when at the time they didn't even realize they were pregnant. The next thing is, I think it's very, very dangerous to criminalize people who are addicts and drank alcohol while pregnant. This gets everyone in their feels, and I understand. But statistically, this is a really bad idea. I understand, as someone with FASD, who probably had a birth parent who was an alcoholic, I understand where the anger and frustration comes from. But I also know that addicts do not have a choice. They do not. People in my comments have said that they themselves have been able to come clean once they realize they're pregnant. That is good for you. Not everyone can do that, and we need to understand that. The mindset of, if I can do it, you can do it, is very harmful in any community. Disability, fitness, addiction. Not everyone has the same quote-unquote strength that you have. We have to remember when it comes to addiction, alcohol and quitting cold turkey can be very, very dangerous when not dealt with medical professionals. It is so dangerous, in fact, some medical professionals will tell an addict who is pregnant, do not quit. We will try to taper you off as safe as possible. Because someone who just flat out stops drinking alcohol when they are an addict, it can literally kill them, and in turn kill the child. The addict who you want to charge for drinking alcohol while pregnant is not going to get the proper medical care in prison. Prison statistically has been known for medical neglect, abuse, and really, really unsanitary situations. They are not equipped to handle pregnancy or medical withdrawal, let alone someone who is pregnant in jail. There are so many stories where the person in jail who is pregnant does not get to a hospital in time and a lot of times pass away because of complications that the prison was not equipped to deal with. Concept that can happen when it comes to FASD and drinking alcohol while pregnant is because of the misinformation when it comes to drinking alcohol while pregnant, and people not knowing that it is actually very unsafe to drink alcohol while pregnant, that they could succumb to misinformation and believe it's okay to drink alcohol while pregnant. Especially if their own medical providers have told them it's safe to drink alcohol while pregnant. That has happened, and it still happens to this day, because even medical professionals are not educated on the topic of FASD and drinking alcohol while pregnant. And people should not go to jail because they followed what they believed was medical information and medical fact. It is not fact. There are articles that have been written that have stated that drinking alcohol while pregnant is safe. And there are people that go online and believe it. There are so many different takes on the topic of FASD and drinking alcohol while pregnant. My take and the things that I have researched have told me it is not safe to drink alcohol while pregnant. But there are a lot of people that do not believe that and believe drinking alcohol while pregnant is perfectly safe. Those people that are succumbing to that misinformation should not go to jail for it. That is incredibly harmful and dangerous, and will make people not go to the doctor or want to get their kids diagnosed. That's another thing. If you criminalize the diagnosis of FASD, there is going to be less chance of children getting diagnosed with FASD. The FASD diagnosis rate is already low, incredibly low. And criminalizing the diagnosis for the parents are going to make those statistics even more so, which means there are kids that are going to be getting the wrong diagnosis, the wrong medication, the wrong therapy. This is why I say that the concept of criminalizing this topic is incredibly harmful to everyone involved. We also have to remember how this is going to affect other minority groups that aren't white. Police brutality is much higher in non-white populations. And biases are very, very strong in non-white communities when it comes to an FASD diagnosis. There is a whole racial issue when it comes to the facial features and FASD. A lot of times, higher economic status white children are more likely to get diagnosed with ADHD or autism than their non-white peers. Even though some studies and some statistics show that drinking alcohol while pregnant is more common in white households that have a higher economic status. And let's talk about the kids that have FASD. FASD, I think people assume, get diagnosed really early or at birth, and that does not happen. That is very, very rare for FASD to get diagnosed at birth. FASD tends to get diagnosed at school age. So you're telling me you want the FASD diagnosis to then be charged on the parents when the kids are 6, 7, 8, 10, preteens, even teenager. They've been living with their parents all their lives. They get this diagnosis. The parents now have to deal with the diagnosis. And now you want the parents to go to jail for that diagnosis. That is incredibly harmful and will cause great trauma for the child and the family. Research and people that study FASD have made it clear that criminalizing anybody who drinks alcohol while pregnant, whether they knew it, whether they didn't know it, whether they were an addict, will only cause more harm and stigma to the FASD community. We need more support and less stigma. Those families and children deserve medical treatment, therapies, support systems, not criminalization. I hope this explains why this idea is incredibly harmful and should not even be a possibility when we talk about drinking alcohol while pregnant or the diagnosis of FASD. I am very sorry that this video was not lighthearted or funny, but it is a conversation that I think needed to happen, and I wanted to put my thoughts in a longer formed video so I can get all the points across. And to the people living with FASD, I understand you're upset by the circumstances you were given. You are allowed to be upset. You are allowed to be angry. You're allowed to yell at the top of your lungs and say, "This isn't fair. Why did my birth parent do this to me?" All those feelings are valid. I am not telling you that those feelings aren't valid because those are my feelings someday. But if we are talking about the bigger picture than our feelings, and someone who is an FASD advocate, I have to sometimes look past my emotional reaction to what the harm could do with those emotional reactions. And I know, statistically, criminalizing FASD would be a terrible, terrible thing to succumb when it comes to the FASD community and their families. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you think about this concept and maybe change your viewpoints. See you guys on the next video. Bye.